Cheers. Shalom. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, underneath Commander General YAHANNA. We are not affiliated, associated with any other Israelite group. Hey man, right now, man, we coming off from the Passover, having a glorious Passover, the 54th annual Passover. We just came back from Raleigh, North Carolina. And, you know, we celebrated that, man. We send up our prayers to the Lord, and we had a glorious Passover, man. You know what I'm saying? Get out of hand, man. Commander General YAHANNA, the generals, the captains, the officers, man, the brothers and sisters came out, man, and we had an amazing time. And right now, we are in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You know, every household should have no unleavened bread, no leavened bread in their house. You should have no bread or any type of bread that has yeast in it. Any type of food product that has yeast in it, you should not have it in your house, man. And you know, Tuesday is Brotherhood class, man, and we're going to go into some scriptures about brotherhood, and we're going to show you what helped us survive during the time of our slavery in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? When the Passover is about us escaping out of the slavery and brutality of Egypt, man. We're just going to go into some scriptures and do some breakdowns and show you, man, how the brotherhood and sisterhood helped us to survive during that time of Egypt, man. You know what I'm saying? America is already tucking in the same footsteps as ancient Egypt. They have done the same exact things that these filthy Egyptians did to us. And look at Egypt now in 2023. Egypt has become a tourist destination, man. You can find any corner inside of those stupid pyramids that everybody loves to go to and take a squat and take a crap right in the corner. You know, that's what your pyramids have came to. You know, at one point in time, man, them so-called, those people that are in Egypt right now are not even the true Egyptians. Those are not the true biblical Egyptians. You know, those people that are over now are the children of Ptolemy, man. They're Greek babies, you know, Cleopatra, like her family, the Greeks. You know, people like to say Cleopatra was a black woman. No, actually, Cleopatra was a white woman. She was family was from Greeks. You know what I'm saying? After Alexander the Greek came through and raped and robbed and pillaged and took a hold of Egypt, he started having sex with those dark-skinned women down there. Now, if you're looking for the real Egyptians, go down to South Sudan. Go to South Sudan, and guess what you're gonna see? You're gonna see the ancient Egyptians, dark as hell, black, tall, just like the picture showed you on those hieroglyphics on the wall. They're tall, dark skinned. They even still have the same head shapes and everything. These are the same people, man. Those people that were in Egypt got chased out of Egypt by the Greeks, man, and by the Romans and all of these filthy, disgusting heathen nations, man. You know what I'm saying? It was still a remnant of them in there, but after so long, they just started, you know, having so much sex with those Edomites, and then next thing you know, you have those people over there now in Egypt. And they was selling it, I think in the early 1900s, they were digging up the tombs of the people over there, and they was selling mummies over there, selling the rods and everything, breaking the rod off and selling it. For what reason? Hey, I don't know. Weird as hell to me. But yeah, man, like Egypt was a horrible place for the children of Israel, man. And now, thousands of years later, we're back in America going through the same thing, man, that same captivity. And we had the Passover, and we prayed to the Lord that he destroy our enemies just like he did the Egyptians, man. We pray the Lord brings us out of this captivity that we are in right now. So we're just going to dig into some scriptures, man. If you got any questions, ask. We're going to show you, man, the comparison of ancient Egypt slavery to America's slavery and how the brotherhood and sisterhood helped us to survive that, man. Because we depended so much upon each other during those times. Excuse me, slacking. And it's no different than now. We depend heavily on the brotherhood and sisterhood, man, to survive, man. We need that tremendously to survive in these last days in this empire that is slowly destroying our people, man. Destroying our people day in and day out, man. And we rely on that brotherhood and sisterhood. And that's why the I.S.U.P.K is the last stronghold, man. These fake Israelite groups that y'all are running into, trying to keep the Passover. Y'all let the Passover having macaroni and cheese and collard greens, and Big Mama don't did your cooking for Passover. Big Mama don't went in the kitchen and cook Passover. Like, Big Mama, what you got? I got fried chicken, collard greens, green beans, macaroni and cheese, spring rolls. I got everything for the Passover. I seen your plates. I seen y'all plates on y'all so-called Passover. We seen it. I.S.U.P.K, we had unleavened bread and lamb. We did what our ancestors did, man. We dressed in our glorious garments and we were on our feet, man. Ready to get up out of this kingdom just in case the Lord did come back and save us from this empire, man. The brothers and sisters, man, at the Passover, it was glorious, man. I know I keep talking about it, but it was a glorious thing to see our brothers and sisters at the Passover, man. Everybody, the men on their feet in their glorious apparel, man, ready to go to war just in case we had to. Just in case the Lord brought us out of this captivity, we were on our feet ready to make our departure from this kingdom, man. But we're going to go into some scriptures and show you some things, man. If you could you give me the book of Exodus chapter 1, verse 1, and let me get that with you also.
Come. This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Exodus is the record of Israel's birth as a nation.
And Exodus is what?
Exodus is the record of Israel's birth as a nation.
This is the record. This is the record now of Israel's birth as a nation. This is how Israel became a nation. This is how the brothers and sisters who at one point in time were called Hebrews became the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
And then the protection womb of Egypt. The Jewish family of 70 rapidly.
Is that the book of Exodus?
Come.
Let me get right there with you. That's the book of Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Try to look it up again. Say, yeah, kind of. I don't think that's it. Do KJV also.
Chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Verse 2, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah. Verse 3, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Verse 4, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher.
Right. These are the sons that came into Egypt. These are our forefathers that came into the land of Egypt. You know, we walked into Egypt. We came into that land because not Benjamin, but not Benjamin, but Salakia. What's our forefather? What's the forefather's name? Ephraim and Manasseh. Joseph. Because Joseph, who had got put into slavery by his brothers, he had became the second in charge of Egypt. So when he became the second in charge of Egypt, he became kind of like the vice president of Egypt. And so while he was in Egypt, you know, he had prophesied to Pharaoh what was going to happen, and it was a great famine that happened. So with that famine, what happened was everybody around those outskirts of that land of Egypt started to starve from poverty, from no food and everything. But Joseph, you know, being Pharaoh's second in charge, you know, and prophesied to him what was going to happen, and he told Pharaoh certain things to do, and Pharaoh did exactly what Joseph told him to do, which made his nation flourish, the Egyptians. He told Pharaoh to put up, you know, a certain amount of, you know, food and everything, like wheat. He said, hey, put up this amount of wheat, you know, do this and do that, and you'll survive the 7 years of the famine. And Pharaoh did exactly what Joseph did, and Egypt became great. You know, these stupid Egyptologists, so-called brothers who think the conscious community, you know, and the Egyptologists is the best thing on earth. The only reason y'all were great is because the nation of Israel, man. Right. Because Joseph prophesied to your dumb leader, who was Pharaoh, who at that time told him what was going to happen. But Pharaoh was wise enough to listen. You know what I'm saying? So he listened and they survived, and they became the richest empire on the face of the earth during that time. No different than America. America has become the most dominant empire on the earth is because they have the children of Israel in captivity. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all the generation. Verse 7. And the children of Israel were faithful, and increased abundantly.
They were fruitful.
And multiplied.
Right, so after Joseph died and all of his brethren in that generation, meaning all of those people who were in the generation during the time of Joseph, when they died, the nation of Israel, we were fruitful and we multiplied, meaning that we populated even more. Like there were more of us. You know what I'm saying? With brotherhood and sisterhood, man, we populated the land of Egypt. No different than now in America. What are some of the main faces that you see walking around here? Black, Latinos, and Native Indians. Right. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. Like one devil tried to say, black people and the Mexican, they like roaches. They everywhere. Yeah, we're everywhere. Right. Guess what? In Egypt, guess what we were? We were everywhere. Right. And we multiplied and increased abundantly. Go ahead.
And waxed exceedingly mighty.
Right. We were mighty. No different than now, man. Like if we were all together, just like how we were in the land of Egypt, and we had brotherhood and sisterhood, man, the right way, we would be great. We would be great. Imagine if, we still had our own football leagues and baseball leagues and basketball leagues and all of these different things that helped us flourish. Listen, the NBA wouldn't even exist. Right. The NBA was falling off back in the day. Why do you think the NBA had to come to the Negro leagues? Nobody was watching. Come on. Right. What you gonna do? See them do layups and them horrible dribbling skills back then? Right. You had to go see Judah. You go see Israel, the whole place packed. Right. We end up going in between the legs, crossing each other up, dunking. Right. Them devils was amazed. They was like, damn. Dude just threw the ball off the backboard and dunked. They were doing that back then. Baseball, we knocking the ball out the park. You know what I'm saying? All of these different things that made us great is because we were all together. Go ahead.
And the land was filled with them.
And what?
And the land was filled with them.
Yeah, in Egypt, the land was filled with us. Just like America, the land is filled with us. Now, let's find out what this Egyptian pharaoh or king did to us to try to, get rid of us because it was so many of us. And you're going to see the comparison of ancient Egypt to America. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Right. So this new king of Egypt, he didn't know anything about Joseph. He didn't know the great things Joseph did to help make his land great. I guarantee you back then somebody was saying, make Egypt great again. Somebody was back there saying that stupid crap. You know what I'm saying? This new king that came in the land of Egypt, he didn't know Joseph. He didn't know about the things that he had did to build up Egypt and help them survive. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And he said unto his people.
It's like he read 8 again. It's like
Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold.
He said unto who?
And he said unto his people.
He said what?
And he said unto his people.
He said unto his people. Went behind closed doors and he talked to his people. Go ahead.
Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Right. He went and had what's the word that we're looking for? He went and congregated with his people. It's no different than what they do here in America right now. You don't think these oppressors go behind closed doors and talk about what we do? Right. I guarantee you the number one target on their list of people that they want to destroy is the I.S.U.P.K. Right. It ain't the IUIC. It ain't GMS. It ain't all of these other fake Israelite camps coming out of there. They not worried about. You think they really worried about Sakari? You think on their list they got Sakari and HOI? The main one that they're worried about is the I.S.U.P.K. Right. Because everything we do is biblical. Right. Everything that they see us do, it goes right back to the scriptures, and they see how mighty we are. They see how great we are as a nation and how we're waking up brothers and sisters and getting them off of drugs. Like, what we're doing is revolutionary, man. This is revolutionary. This is waking people up from being at a lost stage in their life, man. When people thought that we couldn't get off drugs, the I.S.U.P.K underneath Commander General YAHANNA, man, woke brothers and sisters up, man. Like, we are new creatures, man. We are new people. Like, it's so brand new to people. People can't even believe who we are. Family members see you, they seeing your pictures. Like, a lot of us went to the Passover. Your family looking at your Passover pictures, and they just trying to figure out, who are you? Who is this? They ain't doing drugs no more. Ain't sleeping with whores. Ain't a whore. The sisters ain't whoring around. They ain't doing this and doing that. They trying to figure it out. And that's what's gonna wake more brothers and sisters up, man. That's why you see these fake Israelite groups trying to pop up more and more, because they see how revolutionary this is, right? They see the revolutionary in it, man. And so rather than coming underneath the umbrella of the I.S.U.P.K, which is, the home of the truth, where it all started at, they'd rather go out there and do their own thing. They'd rather go be disobedient children. And just like all disobedient children, the father gonna have to give you an ass whooping. Salak. I'm just saying. Watch, you're gonna see more and more the devastation amongst these fake Israelite groups who help divide our people, man. When we was in the land of Egypt coming out of slavery, you didn't see fake Israelite groups causing division among our people, man. Because that ain't brotherhood or sisterhood. That ain't brotherhood or sisterhood when you know where the truth came from, and rather than embrace it and wake brothers and sisters up and teach them the correct way, you go start your own thing for your for your game. Right. Because you want to be you want to be General YAHANNA. You want to be General Muhammad. You want to be General Mayak. You want to be General Q. You want to be General Katham. You want to be General Shamar. You want to be the general so bad. That's what you want to be. You want to be the generals. You got some of you vagina Israelite groups out here calling yourselves general. Well, you ain't did a goddamn thing, man. Right. You ain't did nothing but just breed off of, the hard work General YAHANNA has did, man. You ain't went through nothing. You calling yourself a general, a captain, a deacon, a bishop. All of y'all are disgusting in my eyes, man. And none of y'all ever took the time to read the book of Exodus and see what it took for us to get out of that captivity, man. Y'all not looking at the brotherhood and sisterhood and realizing what it took for us to get out of that slavery, man. It wasn't no fake Israelite groups. Who all was with Moses and Aaron when they brought us out of Egypt? Was it the IUIC? Was it one of those fake Israelite groups? Nah, the Lord appointed Aaron and Moses over the nation of Israel, and they brought us out. And the Lord has appointed General YAHANNA and the generals over the nation of Israel to bring us out, man. And rather than be obedient children and come into the truth and help push the Lord's agenda, you rather go do your own thing and help push Satan's agenda, man. Right. That's why y'all bastards are disgusting, man. I can't stand you. If it wasn't for the discipline that I have and the orders that I've been given, I would probably be in a lot of confrontation with a lot of y'all. I can't stand it. I hate disloyalty. It disgusts me. It angers me. Like it flips a switch in my head when I see somebody trying to do what we do, knowing that the only reason they do it is because they learned it from the I.S.U.P.K. But you didn't see that in the land of Egypt, man. It wasn't nobody else trying to go out there like, hey, I know Aaron and Moses trying to bring everybody out, but we're going to do our own thing. We're going to bring people out too. Nah. Get out of here, man. Shalaki, you can read 9 again now. Shalaki.
Verse 9. And said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Verse 10.
Go ahead, you good.
Come on, and let us deal wisely with them.
Right, and that's what they said. This is what the king of Egypt said. He said, come on, let us deal wisely with them. Meaning, let's find out ways to deal with these people. Let's make up rules and regulations and laws and things that dictate their lifestyle. Let's figure out a way how we can do that. Isn't that what America does to us now? They do that now. What they had back in New York, they had stop and frisk. And tons of innocent brothers and sisters got incarcerated. Jim Crow laws. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of these different things to keep us obligated and destroyed. And it's no different than now, man. This oppressor does the same thing that they did to us in Egypt. They deal wisely with us, man. Go ahead.
Lest they multiply.
Lest they what?
Lest they multiply.
Go ahead.
And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto the enemies and fight against us, and so hit them up out of the land. Right.
So they was afraid of us joining the enemies of Egypt. That's no different than now. How does America act to brothers and sisters who try to consider themselves communists like the Russians, or brothers who try to, obligate themselves with Islam and terrorist groups and everything? You become an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Just like now, the I.S.U.P.K, we are the #1 enemy of our oppressor.
Right.
But they know one thing about us, that we're not going to join any other organization or any other type of religion to fight against these heathens, man, to fight against this oppressor. We're gonna come underneath the banner of the I.S.U.P.K, man, and we're gonna serve the Lord the correct way. We're gonna serve the Lord and let Him be the person who we come with. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters.
They did what?
Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities.
Right. So you look up the definition of taskmaster. The definition says someone who supervises workers, especially one who imposes hard or burdensome work. That's like a supervisor at your job. That's like a supervisor at your job, man. You done been on a job where you work so hard and you can't stand your goddamn supervisor. Like he or she is just always over you. I remember when I was young, when I didn't know anything about the truth, I had to be about 17 years old working in the slaughterhouse. They made an exception for me to work in the slaughterhouse at 17 years old. And I was at a slaughterhouse where they slaughtered pigs. And when I tell you, this was one of the most horrible jobs that I ever had in my life. It was one of the most horrible jobs in my life. And our supervisor was a sister who was a part of the alternative lifestyle community. And she reminded me of Queen Latifah from Set It Off. And when I mean she would work the hell out of us, like it gave her joy to work the hell out of us. Like work us into the point to where you about to damn down the line. And I remember working at another slavery man where they worked us for 12 hours. For 12 hours, you sat at a machine. The machine never stopped. It just pumped out parts. Non-stop for 12 hours. And I'm talking about every 10 seconds, the machine spits out a part. And you got to cut it. You got to cut the corners off. Make sure you got it loaded up and put it in the box. Another 10 seconds, another part coming out. And some of the parts had two machines doing the same thing. 10 seconds, this will pop out, boom. Another 10 seconds, that will pop out, boom. You got to get all that ready and get it situated before it keeps pumping out. And I seen a sister working on the line break down and start crying. Like while she was working, and didn't even stop working, just crying while she was working, until finally the supervisor came over there 20 minutes later and asked her what was wrong. She was like, I just need to take a break. He said, take a 15 and come back. And the sister went inside the room, and I asked her, I was like, you all right? What's wrong? She was like, I can't quit this job. I can't quit this job. She was like, I gotta work this job for my kids. And at that young age, man, it broke me, because I was like, damn, people working this hard to where they won't even quit. They'll just break down and cry on the line because they know that they need this. And the taskmaster come right behind you. Come on now, let's go. let's move, let's move. Like, that's what your supervisor is. He's a taskmaster. It don't matter if it's your own people. They are taskmasters who've been set over us to afflict us, man. Go ahead.
I was on verse
11.
And they built Pharaoh treasure cities,
Right.
Itham and Ramses.
Right. They built treasure cities for Pharaoh. And now this is more historical truth and more historical evidence, because these cities are real. You can go look these cities up right now, Pithom and Ramses. And the oppressor, he's such the devil. He got something called ancient aliens, where they tell people that it wasn't slaves who built the pyramids. They said it was aliens with technology to build the pyramids. Guess what? They're gonna say the same thing about America if you leave it up to this person. They're gonna look at the skyscraper and they say it's no way possible that a man could build these type of things. It had to be ancient aliens to build these skyscrapers. It had to be. Nobody could build this by hand. Well, if that's the case, you stupid idiot. I mean, if that's the case, you stupid idiot. If ancient aliens are going to be the people responsible for building the skyscrapers in the future, you know what I'm saying? But we know that it was men that built this.
Right.
That it was people that built this. You know, what makes you not think that maybe there were men that built these cities in ancient Egypt? Come on, man. You got some of that. They found pyramids in Mexico. They found pyramids in Mexico, Nicaragua. They found them in different locations, man. And nobody said anything about ancient aliens building those. They know that the Mexicans built those so-called pyramids. They said the pyramids were so. They said the pyramids were so advanced. They was like, you could be in the pyramid, on top of the pyramid, in some type of way how they built the pyramid. The king of whoever it was, the king of Mexico during that time, he could yell from the top, and the echo would go down the pyramids, and it sounded like as if he was speaking right in front of the people. He could be all the way at the top, but they had built the pyramid some type of way to where his voice could echo off everything, to where the people, he could be talking just like I'm talking, but the reflection of his echo could wrap around everybody, and everybody heard him as if he was standing right in front of them. Like, that was advanced technology back then, and that was just from structured building by the so-called I.S.U.P.K. They said that they found tunnels to where they could talk in certain parts of the tunnels, and the voice would go to like the other side, and you could hear it. It was like a walkie-talkie without the walkie-talkie. They could just talk in it, and it would go to another pyramid. They could hear it. They could say something in it. The people in another pyramid hear it. They would, oh, okay, and that's how they would send the messages to each other. Even with the structure of how they built the pyramids, and like, people are so retarded. They only thing you got to do is do the research. You do the research, you'll find these things out. Now, everybody is so curious on how the pyramids in Egypt are lined up with the stars in the sky. These idiots don't even know that what the so-called so-called Israelites, what we did was, we would have like a big, like a puddle of water, it'd be like a big thing of water, and what we would do is we would let the stars shine at night, and when it was shine down in the water, that's how we was able to, to use that as our guideline on how to map out the pyramids. Like, we didn't just do it like how they try to say it had to be some type of, alien or UFO to do this. Like, we were just simply geniuses like that. Like, we used the reflection from the stars on the water to map out everything. And what we seen in the stars, we mapped it out on the land. And that's how they were able to get those pyramids in a correct formation like that to be matched up with Orion's belt. Like, our people just was watching the stars, and they learned and they mapped it out. And even to this day, that's still a glorious, a glorious thing to go see, is them pyramids. Because, some people who, of course we got the people who run the earth that know about the truth, but you got some people who don't know the truth, and they are astonished by what they see over there. And now you got ancient aliens telling people that, hey, this is how it was built. It was built by 3 Martians and a spaceship and all type of trash like that, when that is not true. Go ahead, I'll select you.
Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, and the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
Right, that's no different than now, man. Like right now, what do they do to the children of Israel, man? They afflict us, but the more that they afflict us, the more that we grow, man. That's just like now, man. We in slavery right now, but some reason those babies keep popping out.
All right.
You got brothers who are poor as hell, still got 5 and 6 kids. What do they like to tell the women? You ever thought about not having any more kids? You want to get on birth control? Like, you don't think these oppressed looked at these records and figured out, and they know who we are? They had to come up, they had to deal wisely with us like the scripture says. They had to figure out ways how to stop us from populating. Now they got birth control, they got all of these different things, they got abortions and all type of wicked devices they use to stop us from, having children and multiplying. Since the 1970s, there have been over 27 million abortions in the black and brown community. 27 million babies have been murdered in the abortion clinic since the 1970s, man. Everything 12, everything worked out for y'all? Okay, so like, I lock that door back. You gotta go back outside? Okay, no, slack, my bad. All right, go ahead, out. You got it.
Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with the rigor. Like, I'm not. No.
It's like a rigor.
Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. And all their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And with rigor
the word rigor means servity and strictness, meaning that these people were so strict on us with our bondage, man. They made our lives bitter. That's no different than now, man. Our lives are bitter in the land of America. And these Egyptians, they made us to serve hard bondage, man. That's no different than now with the so-called Americans. They make us work hard bondage, man. The bondage is so hard, it's crazy. You can't even believe how hard. If we told you some of the stories on how hard we work, man, you wouldn't even believe it. Just like I was just telling y'all earlier about the sister that I seen working. They worked us so hard, she cried. You can ask Officer Mara Dockett, man. Mara Dockett, like, it's been brothers that have told us about stories of people working at B&W. They worked so hard at B&W that they literally dropped dead on the line. I remember an older brother told me, he said he remember being at work. He said they was working. He said the brother was on the line. He dropped right there on the line, dropped, fell out right down the line. And everybody was like, I think he did. He ain't even moving. And the brother died right down the line. They didn't even stop the line. They kept the line moving. Yeah, they kept the line moving. And then when they found out he was dead, they stopped the line for about an hour, came and got his dead body, took his dead body to the emergency room, let his family come get it, find out all the bad news, and they started the line right back up an hour later.
That's life, so made.
Con, go ahead, Op.
Just like a few years back, it was a man, he was in a paint shop, and this man got his head cut off.
A brother?
I'm not sure it was a brother, but they did the same thing. They cleaned up his blood, picked up the body, picked his head up, started back working.
Come on, man. If America ain't if America ain't in the same footsteps as ancient Egypt, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like the same thing that happened in ancient Egypt, is happening in America, man. They made our lives bitter with hard bondage, man. In the mortar and the brick and all manner of service in the field. Like that's us working in the cotton fields. That's us building them houses. That's us building up their empires. Who do you think built the White House, man? Who do you think did these things, man? And we served with hardcore oppression, man. Like we've been brutalized and beat and destroyed so much, man. It's crazy, man. You can go ahead if you want to, Bob Kashar.
Verse verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shipporah, Shipporah, and the name of the other was Puah. Like,
you got
verse
it.
16. And he said, will ye do the office of the midwife of the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stool. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Right. So this is what the Egyptians knew. The Egyptians knew that if you let those male children live, you're gonna have warriors. You're gonna have priests. You're gonna have prophets. You're gonna have men. That's one thing that these Egyptians knew that America doesn't know. Egyptians knew that men are built for war,
Right.
not women. You know, you got you sisters out here right now in the military scrapping that bulletproof vest on your nice bosoms, which should be used for something else, like nurturing children and, you know, me relaxing my head on them, but some other reason you think a bulletproof vest should go on it. I don't know. I don't know nothing. But y'all would rather do that. But these Egyptians knew that women were not meant for war. They knew that. They knew men were. And what they knew was, in order to defeat your enemy, you need to get rid of the men. So Egyptians told the women who were helping our sisters to have their children, they said if they have children and it be a son, kill the son, but let the daughters live. We can deal with the daughters, but kill all their sons, because that's how you stop a nation, man.
Right.
Go ahead, Doc.
Like I said, if I may, also they don't want them to not regenerate, but they don't want them to breed. Also, they don't want them to keep breeding.
That's exactly right, huh? That's exactly right. That's what they know. They know if you have the men carry the seed. That's for you stupid Egyptologists out there who tell women that they can have a child on their own. Good night. I don't know how that works out. I don't think all the kids I've had have come from me. You got it, cuz.
Like it. That's the virgin birth, man.
Huh?
That's the virgin birth.
It's immaculate conception. And guess what? Egyptologists believe in immaculate conception. A woman can have a baby on her own.
Dang.
She can secrete semen and have her own child. Good night. We got any comments or anything?
Lies and now we have.
Okay, cut. You can go ahead.
Verse 17. But the wives feared God.
But the what?
But the midwives feared God.
They feared the Lord, man. Go ahead.
And did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive.
Right. They didn't listen to what Pharaoh had to say. When it came to the people of the Lord, they didn't do what Pharaoh told them to do.
Right.
They feared the Lord. And that's what you heathens better start to realize and understand. You better start fearing the Lord, man. Or you're going to have a terrible day coming to you, man. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing? And have saved the men, children alive. Verse 19. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women.
They are what? Read that. Say that again.
Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women.
They are what?
The Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women.
Yeah, that's no different than today. Our women are not like these oppressive women.
Right.
Have you noticed that these oppressors here in America, they can't have children like our sisters can? They hate that. Our sisters can have kids like it's nothing. I'm talking about you get you a good Iskarite sister, man, you're going to have an army. Have an army of kids out there. Everybody eating up all your food. All the kids just eating and crying and your hair falling out. But guess what? You're going to have a small army. Because we're nothing like those heathens, man. Just like back then, our women were nothing like these Egyptian women. Go ahead.
For they are lively.
For they are what?
For they are lively.
Lively. What's the definition of lively? Full of life. Our women were full of life.
Right.
And you get an oppressor, guess what she's full of? Anybody know what the oppressor's woman is full of? What do they feel of? Huh? Evil and death.
Yeah, I was about to say that. But
Evil and death. That's why they can't have children. That's why they be in that. That's why they had the what's them things called? They got all these new things that they can do for them women to have kids.
Right.
The Lord didn't give them life like how they gave our women. That's why they only have 2 kids.
Right.
I heard a heathen. He told me, he was like, "Yeah, man, I got 2 daughters." I said, "You gonna have some more kids?" He's like, "No, I wouldn't got a vasectomy." I said, "You got 2 sons?" He was like, "I got 2 daughters." In my head, I was like, "Most high Christ, nobody to carry on your lineage. Nobody."
All right.
Here we got sons and daughters and nieces and nephews to carry on our lineage. These heathens, man, they ain't like our women, man. Our women are full of life. Go ahead.
And are delivered ere the midwives coming to them.
Right. Soon as the midwives come in, they had the children like this. They had the children immediately. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 20. Therefore, I dealt with them with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty.
Ooh-wee. The Lord dealt great with those midwives, man. You know what I'm saying? He dealt great with them. And he waxed and we waxed very mightily. I mean, we grew. We grew and we were strong, man. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses.
What does it mean when it says he made them houses? What does that mean? What does it mean when it says the Lord made them houses? Just think about it. Go ahead. Just think about a house. You got it?
You go ahead, because I want to say that.
All right, if I could, he made them to be, I guess, covered, protected.
La.
Oh, shit.
He gave them life. I'm trying to.
Con? But what's another word for life?
I'm trying to. That's off the top of my tongue.
You got it. It's simple. When you find out what it is, you're like, damn.
It's like Sister Naima said, he gave them sons and a lineage.
That's right. He gave them families. Families. Think about it. The house of Israel. The house of this. The house of that. I mean, your house. What's in your house? Your family.
Right.
So the Lord, since those midwives feared the Lord, he gave them houses or he gave them families.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 22. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying.
He did what?
And Pharaoh charged all his people.
Meaning,
saying,
when he charged them, that means he assigned them or a duty or a responsibility. It's like when somebody charged you, like you've been charged with this. Something has been assigned to you. So Pharaoh assigned to his people, go ahead.
saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Right, since the midwives didn't want to kill our sons, he made it an order for his people to take our children and throw them in the goddamn river, man.
Right, nice.
Like they were doing this. Do you know that they literally? I'm gonna tell you a good movie to watch. That cartoon movie Prince of Egypt. It has some truth in it, then it has some bull crap in it. But those hieroglyphs that they showed of them throwing our children inside of the river, that was true. They had hieroglyphs of them throwing little black and brown babies in the river to be ate by alligators and drowned. Like they would take your children. Like that's why we say, man, the oppressor is the devil, man. He's the goddamn devil.
Right.
Like back then in Egypt, they would take your newborn baby and throw it in the goddamn river, man, in front of you. And with us being weak and not a strong nation, you just had to watch your child being thrown in the river. You think about that, man. Think about you just had a baby. Your baby 2 months old. These filthy, stinking Egyptians busting your house. Take your baby. Willing to kill you if you say anything about it. And take your baby to the river and throw it in the river at nighttime. all your sons. You have a small son, they would take your small son and throw him in the river. And what does this oppressor do now? What does this oppressor do now? What does he do to show that he's down with ancient Egypt? What does he do?
He gave us the right to have abortion.
He gave us the right to do what?
To have abortion.
Right, and then abortions are just as brutal as throwing our children in the river. And actually, the abortions are more brutal.
Right.
The abortion.
Because it's like
Come on, go ahead.
the baby, because when you have abortions, they have to cut the child's limbs, legs and head and whatever.
It's it's mutilation, man.
Right.
They go inside. They take a small, like a little clamp. Go inside. They stick it inside of a woman's private area. It gets around the baby's neck, clip the neck, pull the baby out. The baby's dead as soon as it gets yanked out. It gets yanked outside of a woman. Like, you don't see the similarities of ancient Egypt to America? Come on, this is the same thing. America is worse than Egypt.
Right.
Egypt was horrible too, and look what the Lord had to do to these Egyptians, man. They get their foot off our neck, man. And look what America does to us, man. Like I said earlier, there has been 27 million abortions since the 1970s. Anybody can do the math. Let's see how many years that's been. What's this year?
It's like I got two comments.
Con, go ahead.
Got Sister Jada. She said, "Concert, they are increasing the risk of autism is the firstborn sons." And Sister Naima said, "Salaki, sir, feeding our babies to crocodiles like Esau fed them to alligators."
Just like the same thing. Same thing, man.
Right.
They did the same thing ancient Egypt did. America has done the same thing. Now, I did some math. From 2023 to 1973, that's 50 years. So you do the math. 50 years, 27 million abortions. You do the division, what would that be? You divide 50 by 27. And I'm just trying to do the similarity of how many abortions that's been per year. So what, 25 or 25 is, that's 50. Good night. Good night. That's crazy. So it's like for every 25 years, there's been almost, 13 million deaths? There's been, like, for every 25 years, there has been 13 million black and brown babies killed. 13 million every 25 years. That is outrageous. That ain't even considering Caucasian babies. That's just us. That's just black and brown babies.
Right.
And I think I'm wrong. I think that's just African Americans.
Right.
That ain't even considering Issachar, the other tribes.
I don't even think Issachar do that.
Nah, Issachar does it.
Nice.
Issachar does the same thing. We Israel, we all need the same curses. I remember brother was telling me, Issacharite brother was telling me about this sister. There was an Issacharite. He said, "Man, I will never talk to her." I was like, "Why you want to talk to her, bro? She beautiful." He said, "That girl don't have 4 abortions."
Nice.
4. That sister's private has become a graveyard. As soon as the baby comes in, death has entered into the world. She gonna kill the baby before the baby even have a chance. And you think about that, man. I understand, like, if you watching this video and you trying to come into the truth, the Lord got mercy on you. But if you some proud, wicked bitch that's in the world who has sex without any type of responsibility, you get pregnant. And I hate this right here. I hate when brothers ask sister this question. The sister be like, "I'm pregnant," and they always asking, "What you want to do?"
Are you gonna keep it?
Yeah, that's their first thing. What you want to do? Now, you giving her options to murder this child. What do you want to do? You want to keep the baby, or you want to do the other thing? Like, listen, sister, if you pregnant, guess what? That's my responsibility.
Right.
She's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant. Yeah, hey, that's good news. Let's have this baby." Like, and you got some brothers who help push it. Like, we don't need to have this baby. Not right now. Sister, oh yeah, you right. Let's go ahead and do it. Just adding on to the numbers. And these filthy heathens take the body parts of our children, man, and make money of. You know, there was a video that came out in what 2016, 15, 16, where they had Planned Parenthood selling the body parts of our children, selling the body parts of our babies. Think about how much money they make. 500,000 abortions a year. You might can sell a baby that's been murdered for what, 10,000? 500,000 times 10,000. They'll pay you for the abortion. Go ahead, Up.
Like, so, for what? Like, what are they doing with the baby parts?
Research, stem cells. There's certain things that they can get from the baby because it's a human.
Right.
So they can take certain parts, like the organs and certain things, and use it to kind of help them. You know, they could use it for whatever. Like, these people are diabolical, man. You go to China, guess what they doing over there? They over there eating the babies. I remember that. Like, they don't take that off the internet. They had the China man. It was Moab. He was over there with a big ass bowl. You look in the bowl, it is a dead Moabite baby in the bowl. God damn. I was saying poor dogs, but these bastards, man.
One-time baby soup.
One-time baby soup. You think you about to get sesame chicken? You got sesame Kim in your plate. Fang Yong wings. Good night. Deep fried baby fingers.
Gerber.
You think you about to get chicken fingers? You getting baby fingers. You getting baby fingers. Like, this is a true story. I'm not playing. Like, I did the research. It was a lady. They took the video down. She was over there. They had a market. It was a market. It was like some kind of. I think they let only 13 people into the market. But when they came into the market, because you know they got a population control over there in China. The lady walked into the market. She had the little camera on. They had like a blue long table. It was a long table. It probably had to be the same size as this room almost. Probably like from right here to where that stand is. And it had like blue tarp down. But when they took the damn stuff off, it was nothing but aborted babies on the table. And they just walking through looking for which one they gonna choose. And they had one that was a big baby. Like, it might have been like a good 8-pound baby. Like, they picking it like they about to get a chicken from the restaurant. I'm like, God damn. Like, they looking, Moab talking to each other. He said, no. Like, what the? Look, if the Moab doing it, what you think these heathens doing to us? Sister Naima gave me she gave me a great book and some more information. She gave me a book called The Delectable Negro. And she just sent me an article that I am going to read tonight about how they feed upon our children, man, how they eat the dead bodies of our people, man. Come on, you can go to the next scripture. So, like,
Verse 2. Exodus chapter 2, verse.
Verse 1.
Verse 1. Okay. Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. Verse 2. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months.
She did what?
She hid him 3 months.
Why did she hide him for 3 months? Go ahead, you got it.
Evil as Pharaoh,
He already made an order for his people to make them.
Damn right. That's exactly why she hid Moses. She hid this child because she knew Pharaoh was going to kill this child. And so she took it upon herself to hide this child for 3 months. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of the bulrushes.
Right. He got so big, he was 3 months. Now the baby's doing more. Now the baby's crying loud. Now more people going to start looking up like, oh, girl, you got a baby? What? Oh, that's a little girl? It's a little boy. Oh, shit. She don't have a son. Go tell Pharaoh she got a son. And guess what would have happened to that baby if Pharaoh would have knew about that son? Go ahead.
I do not know how to pronounce this word. And Dayu,
Bulrushes.
Oh no, I already said that word. So like it's another word.
And dub.
And dubbed it with with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags.
Right. This ain't like that story off the movie. What's that movie called? Prince of Egypt, where she put the baby in the goddamn thing and the baby just went floating down the river and all that. Nah, this child's mother tucked the baby, put it inside the thing, and put it right next to the flags of the river. You know what I'm saying? What are the flags of the river? That's it's like it. That's like the plants. You know what I'm saying? Like right on the side of the river. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And his sister stood after, and his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him.
Right. So his sister, man, being an amazing sister, she stood and watched because she knew also what the Egyptians were doing to male children. And they took it and left it. They let the Lord handle the situation for them. So she sat by to see what was going to happen when Pharaoh's daughter seen this child. Was she going to kill the baby? Or was the Lord going to be with them in their favor? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. And her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. Verse 6. And when she had opened it, she saw the child. And behold, the babe wept. And when she had compassion on him.
She did what?
And she had compassion on him.
And she had compassion on this baby, man. Something these heathens these days don't have on our children. They don't have compassion. And guess what? The daughter of Pharaoh, man, her father didn't have compassion. But his daughter did. It's something about a child, man. You would think when a woman sees a child crying, they would have compassion. That's why we tell our sisters, man, stay out of those abortion clinics, man. Have some compassion for your goddamn kids, man. But y'all are so bitter and so evil and so diabolical. You hate the child's father so much. Oh, he ain't about to be with me. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the baby. I've heard some sick, disgusting stories, man. Go ahead, huh?
These women, they be aborting the child because they afraid of the child turning out, the child might end up looking like him, so they'll go ahead and abort.
You guys see this? I take a look. You guys, I take a look at. This room temperature be too wild too. This room temperature. I take it at room temperature. Right, like Nayar said. He said these women kill the children because it looks like the father. That's more proof to show you that the children come from the father.
Right.
Ain't no immaculate conception. That woman knows that child is going to look like the father, might act like the father, because it comes from the father.
Right.
You just holding this baby in. But these diabolical bastards these days, they're giving our women permission to do what's right when it comes to them and them children. Like the woman is becoming the leader of the household. Right. Not the knock, and I'm not saying this to my sisters that are in the school, because you sisters are beautiful and amazing. Like we would die for y'all sisters. These brothers in this room, we would give our life for these sisters inside of this school.
Right, right.
Like anybody do you any harm, Lord be with them.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, because these sisters are amazing. They're worth dying for. But you hoes in the streets and the strip clubs, you can't keep your breast off the internet. You can't stop shaking your tail on Facebook. You got the OnlyFans page. What's some other crap that they got out here? What y'all know about out here? What y'all doing on the low that I don't know nothing about? It's one of these freak nasty websites they got out here now. What they got? I don't know. They used to have Backpage back in the day where sisters was just slutting themselves at a phenomenal rate. I remember when me and the brother did the math. He was bragging about it. Yeah, boy, I got this girl on Backpage that I be talking to. Yeah, boy, she bad. Boy, she bad, bro. I said, what I told him, I said, that woman that you have sex with on Backpage, I said, how many men you think she sleeps with on a daily basis? He's like, I don't know, man, maybe 7, 8. I said, now do 8 times 5. I said, you know what, do 8 times 7. He said, 8 times 7 is 56. I said, now do 56 times 4. And he did the math. He said, God damn. I said, now do that times 12. And he said,
Good night.
he couldn't even believe it. I said, that's how many women that's how many men she sleeps with probably.
It's like I said, my mate.
Kind.
I heard a brother tell me, because he be doing this shit, and he was like, it's nothing personal, just business.
That is disgusting. Like I want me a sister that has some honor to herself, man. I want her to respect herself. She might deny me. No, brother, I'm good. Cool. Sis, you got a man? Nah. Oh, you don't got a man? Nah, I ain't got no man. Okay, cool. You know, maybe we can talk. Yeah, we can talk. You get my number. I want that. Make me work for it. I want to give you my damn money. It's like going to the store buying a candy bar. The kids can do it. Damn kids can do it. You up here paying for boxing, you gonna tell myself, it ain't nothing personal. It's just business. All right, when you get AIDS too, nigga, that's just business too, brother. That's all I'm saying. I'm doing some math. I forgot the number. Good night. If a woman is a prostitute, let's say she on Backpage, whatever they got now, they got out here. I'm pretty sure they got something else. And if she sleeps with a man, 8 men a day, 8 times 7 is 56, times 4 is 224 men a month, times 12. Meat scratcher. Salaki. If a sister does this, if she sleeps with 8 men a day, 7 days a week for 12 months, that woman has had sex with 2,688 men in 1 year. And y'all brothers out here eating the bugs. Oh my God. You eating out of a graveyard. Like eating out of that is like going Salaki, I'm just saying, like you doing that is like going to a trash can, ripping the lid off, and just eating the first thing that comes out of that. Right. Sister, get in the truth. God damn. Shit. Salaki. Forgive me. Salaki. Go ahead, let's get off this subject. I don't want to talk no more about this. Let's go back to the scriptures. Salaki. Nah, no more. I can't handle too much of this anymore. Good night. Y'all think about that, brothers out here, before you go sleep with that whore. You love that whore. She just beautiful. Oh, she's so pretty. Look at her. Be like Moses' sister, man, who stood back and watched her brother to see what was going to happen to him. Be a good sister, man. Be like these sisters in the school, man. Go ahead. We're going to have a class on that one.
All right, verse 5. And the daughter of Pharaoh came to... Oh, so I think I read that. I did.
You went 6?
Okay. Verse 6. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she said, and she had compassion on him, and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children.
She even knew the difference. She knew this wasn't her child, just like these Hamites today. These Africans know we're not the same people. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew women?
Right. So the child's sister, the child that was inside of the ark, she ran over to Pharaoh's daughter like a good sister and said, shall I go and get one of the Hebrew nurses? Go ahead.
That she may nurse the child for thee.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 8. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
And she went and called the child's mother. You know what I'm saying? The daughter of the sister of the child went. And the maids of the Pharaoh's daughter, they went and they found the child's mother. You know what I'm saying? Like this was like Moses' sister, it's like the baby's sister went also with them, and they found the mother, which is this little girl's mother's also. So they went and found the mother of this child. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me.
Meaning, take this child and nourish it for me. Breastfeed this child. Do the things that it takes to raise this child. Go ahead.
And I will give thee thy wages.
And I will do what?
And I will give thee thy wages.
So she paid her to watch her own child. Pretty much like a what's them little things that they give sister these days? They give sisters money to help raise their children, like food stamps, all of that.
And
WIC, all of that. Like she pretty much paid this sister to watch her own child. But this child was also considered her daughter, her son as well, the Pharaoh's daughter's son. Go ahead.
And the woman took the child and nursed it. Verse 10. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter.
Right. So guess what? This child was raised with his mother, who was a Levite. So this child got raised with his mother until he got older, until he grew, and then finally they brought this child to Pharaoh. Go ahead.
So like I don't know. I didn't keep reading. I'm really guessing.
Kind.
Is this child Moses?
Let's keep reading.
I swear I did not keep reading. I'm really guessing.
Kind. Let's keep reading.
It's like verse 10.
Yeah, you right. You right.
Verse 10. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son.
So she pretty much adopted this child. After he grew up a little more, she adopted him. Go ahead.
And she called his name Moses.
There go your answer. You were right, Ak. Go ahead.
And she said, because I drew him out of the water.
Right.
It's like,
Kind.
that's what his name means, right?
Right. I think so. Kind. Kind.
Verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses grown that he went out unto the brother.
He did what?
He went out unto the brother.
Unto his brethren.
I mean, it's like unto his brother.
Right. So Moses was grown. When Moses was grown, he went back to his brethren, because guess who he was raised with until he became into the Pharaoh's house? He was raised with his brethren. He knew who his people were.
Right.
It ain't like that dumbass movie that they make. I still like to watch it from time to time. Prince of Egypt. I watch it just for entertainment. You know, you got a good little TV. You can just watch it. But I have to watch it and break it down to my kids to let them know the bull crap.
Right.
But Moses knew who he was.
Right.
He knew he was a Hebrew. He knew who his brethren was. And when Moses was grown, he went out to his brethren. Go ahead.
Good man. Okay. And look on their burdens.
And looked on their burdens, meaning, he looked on the things that was hardcore. Like, he seen his brothers working in the field. Like, he seen all of these things that were happening to his people, man. And it hurt him, man. It hurts any brother to see his brothers in slavery working hard, going through hell. Go ahead.
And he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew.
He found an Egyptian beating a Hebrew. Like, what is that? What would that be called today? What would that be called today? You got 2 words on it. You got 2 words.
Police brutality.
Police brutality and lynching.
Right.
Police brutality. Moses seen an Egyptian doing police brutality and lynching one of his brethren, man. Go ahead.
One of his brothers.
One of his what?
One of his brothers.
Right, one of his brethren, man. Moses knew this was one of his brethren. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And he looked this way and that, and he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian. And hid him in the sand.
All right, now I ain't telling nobody to go out here and kill no oppressor and bury their body. But Moses did what he thought was right. Because he seen this heathen beating on his brother. Moses looked that way, looked that way.
Yeah, that's some black shit.
That's what Israel do. That's what Israel do. Like, what the coast clear? Let me go. Get him on out of here. And took the body and buried it. All right, go ahead.
Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together.
2 men of the what?
Two men of the Hebrews strove together.
What's the definition of strove is? Does anybody know the definition of strove?
It means to make great effort to achieve or obtain something.
That's strive.
Oh, Salih. Oh, Salih.
Strove is STROVE.
Like, oh, it means to tackle, aim, endeavor, seek, go out. Go all out. This is a lot of things.
You got the same definition?
All right.
Nah, you good, but he right. Like these brothers was pretty much beating the hell out of each other. They was going all out on each other. No different than where you see this type of activity at these days. Anybody in the comment section, where do you see Hebrews going all out on each other at? Where you see that at? While still seeing us getting our tails kicked by the oppressors. We getting our tails kicked by the oppressor, but some strange reason we make it our job to beat the hell out of each other. We go all out when it comes to each other. You step on our shoe. Hey, nigga, you stepped on my shoe, nigga. I'ma kill you. Police pull you over. Officer, I'm just trying to make it home.
Yes, sir.
I'm right there. That's my... Stay right there.
Stay right.
Get out of the car. Why y'all doing this to me? But you go all out on each other. Where do we see this type of activity at? Where do we see this at, y'all? Come on, y'all.
Like I said, my mate.
Come.
Sister Naima said in the ghetto.
Damn right. Bro. Give her a hand. Damn right. You said in the ghettos, some strange reason, we beat the hell out of each other. 18th Street versus MS-13. The Bloods versus the Crips. You know, you got this happened back then in the land of Egypt, man. We were beating the hell out of each other while at the same time being oppressed in slavery, while at the same time still getting beat up by the police officers, being lynched. All of this was happening to us back then. The lifestyle that we lived in ancient Egypt, we live now in America, man. Go ahead. Let's find out. This is how you know this says. Read that again in 13. Start from the top.
Okay. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strolled together, and he said unto him, that did so like he said unto and he said to him that did the wrong, beware, smitest thou thy fellow.
Right. He said, so Moses went to the one that did the wrong, and he said, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Like, you did wrong. Why you jumping on him? Like Moses came through. Moses seen this stuff going on. Moses like, hey man, why you jumping on him when you did him wrong?
Right.
Let's find out what they said.
Verse 14. And he said.
And he what?
And he said.
Let's find out what he said. The one that was beating the brother's tail. Let's find out what he said. Moses came to him and said, hey man, you did this brother wrong, man. Why you trying to jump on him? And guess what he said? Let's see what he said.
Who made thee a prince and a judge over us?
Nigga, who made you a prince and a judge? Who made you a prince and a judge, nickel? Go ahead.
Intentest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian.
Oh, so you gonna kill me just like you did that Egyptian, ain't you, nigga? That's Israel, man. That's Israel. They don't got the fighting out there. The brother don't got the fighting, but one of them did it wrong. Moses come in to intervene. Hey, man, you did that brother wrong, man. Why you gonna jump on him? Nigga, who made you a judge? Oh, you rule over us? Oh, you gonna kill me just like you did that Egyptian, ain't you? Ain't you? And guess what Moses said? Let's see what Moses said.
And Moses feared.
And Moses what?
And Moses feared.
Moses was like, oh, shit. How this nigga know about this? Go ahead.
And said, surely this thing known.
Guess what? Because if one nigga know, everybody know. That's Israel. If the hood, if one person from the hood know, guess who else know? The whole hood know. And Moses knew, surely this thing is known. Everybody know about this. If these brothers beating the hell out of each other, and they killing each other, this brother don't say, what you gonna do? You gonna kill me like you did that Egyptian? Moses was like, oh, damn. If he know, I'm pretty sure everybody else know. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing.
And Moses was right. And Moses was exactly right. That brother knew, and guess who was found out later? Pharaoh, because you know the phrase in the hood, Negroes can't hold water. Kind of true, but That's just us. Go ahead. This has always been us. This has always been Israel. We can't hold now. That's why you got to be careful who you talk to, and that's why in the I.S.U.P.K, the brotherhood and sisterhood, is so important, man. When you're giving somebody counsel, man, you know, some people might trust you with certain things. They might be personal, so they might come to get counsel. So the things that they tell you in counsel, you don't go out here and start splurging it in the streets and give that person the type of shame. That's like the most disloyal thing you can do is tell something so personal that somebody's trusted you with. Right. They came to you in the counsel like, Salakia, sir, this is something that's going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, brother, I got you, brother. That's between me and you. Right. Like, then you go behind their back and you be like, man, let me tell you about what so-and-so told me. Like, this is what Moses was going through, and they brought him great fear, and this right here could have got him killed. Go ahead.
He sought to slay Moses.
He did what?
He sought to slay Moses.
Why did Pharaoh want to kill Moses? This is a good question right here. Why did Moses want to kill Pharaoh? This is going to tie into what goes on today. Why did Moses want to kill Pharaoh? You got it, Cos?
Because he was oppressing his people.
No. I mean, Slacky. Oh. Why did Pharaoh want to kill Moses?
Oh, because he killed one of his soldiers.
He killed one of his what?
One of his soldiers.
One of his people.
One of his people.
No different than now in America. What happens if you kill a white woman?
Shit.
What America want to do to you? He gonna want to kill you. When we was coming out of slavery, what happened if a black man touched a white woman? They gonna do you like how they did Emmett Till. They gonna kill you. This happened in Egypt to us also. Pharaoh knew if you touch one of mine, oh, now all your people will think it's okay to touch one of mine. Let me make an example out of you, Moses. Let me make an example out of you, Emmett Till. Let me make an example out of you, numerous brothers who've been lied on for touching women or jumping on somebody. You got it out.
It's largely he didn't even touch it. All he did was whistle it.
And then they said, then it came out that was a lie. That was a lie. Young brother lost his life over a lie. Go ahead.
He sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well.
Right, now let's keep going down. Let's go to 23. Go to verse 23 in that same chapter.
Exodus chapter 2, verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. Right, that means that
we got tired. Frustration. It's pretty much, it's we were fatigued, we were tired, we were frustrated. It's no different than how we are in America. Every day we wake up, we just like, man, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of having to work hard. I'm working hard. I'm working 13 hours a day. I'm working 2 jobs, and I'm still poor. Still can't manage to pay my bills. We felt the way we feel now in the land of Egypt. It says that we felt the same way. You know what I'm saying? We cited by the reason of bondage. I mean, us being underneath so much captivity, it made us frustrated. It made us tired. It made us angry. And what happens when we become frustrated and tired amongst each other? We look at each other as if we're enemies, man. Right. We become enemies amongst each other rather than doing the most important thing to do. And this is what we should be doing now rather than fighting against each other. We should do what our ancestors did when we had cited by reason of bondage, when we were exhausted from our captivity. This is what we should be doing right now. Read the next verse, Baba Kashah.
Verse 24. And God heard their groaning.
Read that again out the bondage. Salakia.
And they cried.
And they what?
And they cried.
And they cried. Like the scripture says, cry loud, spare not. Show my people their transgression. Meaning we yelled, man. We prayed to the Lord, man. Go ahead.
And their cry came up unto God by reason of the bondage.
The Lord heard us crying to him. He heard the prayers of our people, man. Lord, please get us out of here, man. Lord, help us. Like, we're going through that right now. But these oppressors these days, they have figured out a lot more devices to keep us in bondage better. Like, they give us little trinkets. They give us money. That's the reason why they don't have any problem with giving these rappers all this money. You think all these rappers are rich, right? Yeah, they got millions of dollars. They got Rolls Royces. They got Range Rovers. They got Bentleys and all of these things. But at the end of the day, they still slaves.
Right.
And they prove it time and time after time. Young Thug right now, Young Thug the rapper, millions of dollars. Where is he at right now? What's on his wrist right now?
Shackles.
Shackles, just like a what?
Like a prison. Well,
Like a
slave.
like a what?
Like a slave.
Young Thug is still a slave. And it took for the shackles to get put on his hand to realize that you could be like Gunna, who doesn't want to be a slave, and
Seem like all right.
right, young Gunna just became. He's singing a cappella right now. He don't even need a beat. He just gonna come in there. What you want to know? You could be like that.
And can't ever buy a cigarette at Chick-fil-A.
They probably didn't even. Damn. Listen, and you know what was bad about Young Gunna, that he was, and this is more proof to show brothers and sisters that all those drugs that you taking out here, that lean, the weed, what's some other drugs that these young guys, these brothers and sisters doing now? Percocets, shrooms. They doing all of these drugs. Guess what made Gunna break his drug addiction? He was back behind them walls underneath withdrawal. They said he was doing bad back there. They said he was back there shaking. He paid somebody to try to bring the lean in. He got to the point where he was like, I need to get high. I need to get out. I got cars. I got money out there. And he did a disloyal thing and told, like, listen, I'm not in the streets. We ain't in the streets in the U.P.K. We in the streets, but we ain't in the streets. So we ain't got no reason to snitch on nobody. But y'all go do what y'all do. Shalaka. Go ahead, up.
Verse 24. And,
You had something you want to say, up?
No.
Okay, Karen.
and I heard their groaning.
It's like you can say the Most High on that one.
So
Shalaka.
it's like, and the Most High heard their groaning, and the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob.
Right. That's what we got to realize right now. The only reason that we're still alive right now is because the Lord remembered the covenant that he had with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right. That's the only reason the Lord has spared us right now, man. Because he remembered the covenant that he made with our forefathers. Go ahead.
Verse 25. And the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them.
He had what?
The Most High had respect unto them.
The Lord had respect unto the children of Israel, man. He had respect to us because we came back and we cried to the Lord. Meaning we came back to the Lord and we prayed to him. We asked the Lord to get us out of bondage. We didn't go to the church and pray to Savior Boys. Yeah. We came to the Lord, man. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of the Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert.
Right. So guess what Moses was doing? Moses became he started to herd the children, the flock of his father-in-law. Go ahead.
And came to the mountain of the Most High, even the Horeb.
Right. So Moses ended up going into the desert, and Moses became to the mountain of the Most High, which is Mount Sinai, which is the mountain of the Lord, which is the same mountain, huh? That's not, it's just the mountain. This is the same mountain that the Lord came and met the children of Israel at when we came out of slavery. Meaning that, and this is actual fact, they actually know where, like the place that they call Mount Sinai right now, archaeological evidence shows that that's not the true land of where, that's not the true mountaintop where we went. They said that where we actually went, they said that the rocks, they said the top of the mountain, they said that it's how the rock is. They said nothing on this earth can make that rock that hot to where it melted and it's like glass, like rock. The rock turned to glass on top of that mountaintop, on the real Mount Sinai. And they said it's nothing on this earth can get that hot. They said not even volcanoes, not even any type of heat can get that hot to where it could turn rock into glass. So this is more proof showing you that those chariots, when the Lord came down to visit us, man, he came out there in the chariot, and the chariot was so hot that it turned the rock into glass. You go ahead, Op.
Verse 2, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush.
Right, so the angel of the Lord came out and visited Moses, man, in the burning bush, man, out of a flame of a bush. And I've heard people say, stupid, you drug addicts, y'all out of control. Somebody tried to tell me one time, oh, see, look, Moses, he was talking to a burning bush. What else can you burn? I said, what do you mean, brother? He said, explain to me more. I said, what do you mean? He was like, smoking weed. I said, what you saying? Moses was smoking weed? He was like, man, that had to be what it was. I wasn't as seasoned as I was now in the truth. I just listened. I said, this nigga is a drug addict. Brother, you need to get out there. Weed. If you read this and the only thing you got out of it was getting high, God damn. And then I heard a sister say the same thing. Moses was about to burn the bush, so there's nothing wrong with us burning the bush too. We should be able to get high. I said, God. Go ahead.
You can't even look at that bush. If you was to look at it, you would die.
Nah, that's not true. Because Moses looked at this bush also. Like Moses looked at this bush. But people take this bush and they take it as the burning bush as being the way you can get high. Right. And this is how you know this bush has nothing to do with getting high. Read that again. Read 2.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And it's like, and he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Right.
So Moses is looking at this tree that's on fire. This bush is on fire. But guess what? The bush isn't burning. Could you imagine you in your backyard, right? And all of a sudden the tree goes up in the flame. But the tree isn't on fire. Right. It's a flame on the tree, but the tree isn't on fire. What are you going to do when you see that? You're going to be like, what the Right. It's like, but what the hell? And this is for you drug addicts. This bush that burned up didn't catch on fire like your weed does. Your weed is on fire. You just smoking it. You choking. You think you high. Really, you're dying. Right. You dying. What you talking about? You coughing your lung up. That's that gas. No, you dying. The reason why you coughing is because your lungs are rejecting the smoke. That's why you coughing. Your lungs are trying to get the smoke out of it. You think since your eyes are bloodshot, you cough and spit don't came out your mouth. Your eyes about to bust out your head. You think, boy, I'm ultra high. Like, no, you about to ultra die. That's it, weed heads. That's why all you weed heads about to celebrate 420 out there too. We got a class for you too, you drug addicts. Get off that weed. Put the blunt down. You put the blunt down. We got weed heads. We know right now they get so high with the kids in the house. Am I lying? Are we lying about this? They got the kid, the brothers. We stayed next door to somebody, and you can smell the weed from the window. We get out the car. They got the window open. All you smell is weed, and this small baby's running around in the house, and that's more proof that you don't love your kids, man. You don't love your kids. You look down on the crackhead because they smoke crack, but you smoke weed with your babies in there. Go ahead again. Go ahead, Salaki.
Verse 3, and Moses said, I will not turn aside and see this great sight while the bush is not burnt.
Right, so Moses said, I will not turn aside and see this great sight. Moses wanted to find out what was going on. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see.
Oh,
God-
Salaki, I read it wrong. Moses said, I would now turn aside. Like Moses was about to get the hell up out of there. Moses seen that. Moses said, oh, time to go. Go ahead.
And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, the Most High called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Verse 5.
Imagine you hear that. Imagine the bush is on fire, but it's not burning. And then the bush, I might be saying it wrong, Salaki. No, I'm wrong. Moses did want to find out why this bush was burning. So Moses wanted to find out, and then the Lord called out of the bush. And when the voice came out of the bush, Moses said, Here I am. Go ahead.
Verse 5. He said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet. For this place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Shh, take your shoes off your feet. This is holy ground. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the Most High of thy father, the Most High of Abraham, the Most High of Isaac, and the Most High of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon the Most High.
He put his head down, and he showed honor to the Most High. Like, you can imagine how terrifying it was to hear that voice, to hear that come out of a bush that wasn't on fire, but it was on fire.
Right.
He did the right thing. He put his head down, and he gave honor to the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt.
And that goes to show you, the Lord sees what's happening to us in America, just like what he's seeing happening to us in Egypt. He sees what's going on with us, man. He sees the affliction. He sees the brutality. He sees the oppression. He sees the wrongful convictions, man. He sees the murder, the rape and robbery, and the abortion clinics. He sees all of that, man. Go ahead.
And have heard their cry by reason of the taskmaster.
Right. He hears our cries, man. He hears our pleas to him for what these taskmasters are doing to us. Go ahead.
For I know their sorrow.
For I know what?
For I know their sorrow.
The Lord knows our suffering, man. He knows our sorrows, man. The Lord knows that. Don't let no church, and that's why I say these churches, the Lord knows how unhappy we are, man. And you disgusting Christian churches, man, who teach our people to get abused and keep a smile on your face. Like, they teach us how to get beat and brutalized and smile about it.
Right.
You go to church, you getting beat the hell up. You getting just like that story with that brother, man, Botham, what's his name? The Levite brother. Botham Jean, man. The devil walked inside of his apartment, shot the brother while he was eating ice cream. And the judge, a black judge, got down from the stand and put her hands in the hair and told her everything was going to be okay. And Botham Jean's brother came up and hugged this cop who murdered his brother and told her everything was going to be okay, man. That's what your church teaches. Your church teaches you that. Rather than cry to the Lord to get us out of this position, we just embrace the brutality. We get beat. It's all right. We're going to be all right. It ain't your fault that you had to do what you did to us. What? Come on, man. This place is hell, man. We're going to do 8, then we're gonna close it. We're going to close it out. Go ahead and do 8.
Verse 8. And I came down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians.
Damn right. And we pray the Lord does the same thing to this oppressor now. We pray the Lord delivers us out of the hands of our oppressors, man. Because what did the Lord say in the scripture? He said, what did he say he said, what's the scripture goes? He says, it's in Revelations where he said he put those in slavery, who puts us in slavery, and death to the man who hands that I find my people. And I'm just paraphrasing. Because right now, even in this day, time, and age right now, we are still in the hands of our oppressor. Meaning that they are the ones who are in rulership over us. They are the ones that are in control of our lives. That's like if somebody, like you got, like, you know, I'm in the hand of, like my kids, they in my, like, you know how somebody says, hey man, I'm gonna put them in your hands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning that I'm giving you the responsibility to take care of this, or my children, or or this and that. When I leave, they in your hands. It's no different than now. By the Egyptians, we were in their hands.
Right.
And what did they do to us when we were into their hands? They brutalized us, murdered us, raped us, killed our babies. No different than America. Who hands are we in right now? These Americans. And what do they do to us now? They brutalize us, murder us, destroy us, and do all of these sick things to us, man. Go ahead.
And to bring them up out of the land unto good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
Right, go to 9, Salaka Baba Kushah.
Verse 9. Now, therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
Come on, man. These Egyptians were oppressing us, man. The Egyptians were oppressing us, and guess who's oppressing us today? The land that we are in captivity.
Right.
The Lord seen. That's why I don't understand how these oppressors, they don't understand that they are just like the Egyptians. You got the so-called fake Jew who thinks he's the Jew. He's the biblical Jew when nobody's oppressing him. Who's oppressing him? Nobody. Nobody's oppressing him. Kanye West brought out that information when Kanye West had that, when he showed that reporter that thing. The reporter he was like, well, Kanye West, how you going to say that the Jewish people run Hollywood? And he showed him that thing. He said, let me show you something on my phone. He said, you see all that in the red? He said, yeah. He said, you see how packed that is? He said, those are the people who run Hollywood. And he said, guess who them people are that are running Hollywood? He said, who? He said, those are Jewish people. And the whole thing was marked in red. It was marked all in red. There was a few green spots in there, maybe 3 or 4 or 5. But everything else was marked in red.
Right.
Nobody's oppressing the Jewish, man. But there is somebody oppressing the children of Israel, man. Salaka, we over the time a little bit. Salaka, we started late, but we are over time. Damn, I'm trying to think, guys. Should we do a couple more scriptures? We're going to mark it right here at 9. We'll try to pick up tomorrow at 9. All right, with that, man, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Kazimar.
The I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K started 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes to school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to save themselves of the world. They are to be saluted only. If they need transportation, their teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother and a sister will get permission from the head to marry. It's like will court each other. After the 6 months period, a brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 and 8 through 10, means in the Hebrew, ma'asher, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give it to the Treasury Department. Please fund a free will offering, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. Right now we are in the midst of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the third day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and the closing is on Sunday. All right, so I remind Akim and Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school. Start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband,